Um, so I'm here live on YouTube. So I'm hoping the Care Bears will slide through, come and see me. Okay, we are live now. We're doing our thing, and we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping, but we're going to jump into it. I will not be before you long, so you guys come on down to the YouTube and just type in "Real Talking Healthy Food," and we're going to get into the mix. Okay. So I'll wait for a few of y'all, and then we just gonna get into the business, okay? So I'll see y'all in a minute. Oh, they're saying it must be a minute. It was too short. Okay. Life is too short, don't you agree? West Coast. Okay, first of all, what's up? What's up? So right now we're going live. We're going live per request of one of my Care Bears. So she's a down Care Bear, so we're going to get this popping. We're going to review the mysterious death of Eazy-E, as you know, the documentary on WeTV. It comes on Thursdays at 9 o'clock. And so let's just get our housekeeping done. Um, we're going to review this on Friday night, so this is going to be our theme. We're going to watch it on Thursdays, come together on Fridays, and talk about it. There's a few things, especially over here on Real Talking Healthy Food. We have read the medical apartheid. Well, we got up to chapter 12, which is very telling in itself, about um, the history of medical science and Black people. Um, so, it was very intriguing to me. Oh, I hope my poster don't come down. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, hold on. I feel like it's gonna come down. Don't look at my see-through too. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna get this together. All right. By the way, I have had that poster for a very, very, very long time. So, yeah. So, uh, we're gonna review this. Um, Documentary. His daughter, E.B. Wright, and his ex, Tracy, I'm going to just call her Tracy J, because I do not know how to say her last name. But apparently, a girl is a writer, okay? And so come to YouTube, Real Talking Healthy Food. It's kind of dry. This is kind of why I don't like doing the lives, but her request, and it would be a lot easier for me to go live on the first episode of the review. And then after the first review, we're going to do it on Friday nights. So the actual show comes on Thursdays on WeTV. From what I've seen, it's been uploaded to Ruthless on YouTube um, the next day. So that's how I was able to watch it. So after it comes on Thursdays, then we're going to review it on Friday nights. And then that could just be our thing. We could just review it and talk about some of the things that the hip hop community has to say, some of his closest friends. And I'm Bone Thugs for life. So some of the things that Lazy Bone, Crazy Bone has been very vocal about. They have not been shy about their opinions about it. And if you're a real Bone Thugs fan, they've rapped about it in a few songs, um, about how quickly he died from AIDS. So, and my opinion, if you're a subscriber and you've been following me along on my YouTube journey, you know how I feel about that epidemic. Okay. So you guys on the ground, come on over to YouTube so we can get into it. I had to make my Instagram post a little bit longer, but here on YouTube, we about to get into the mix. So please come on over. Just type in Real Talking Healthy Food, and you'll be in the mix with us. So I think this is Robo Bear, or hopefully a subscriber. If it's a subscriber, please show me some love in the chat, and then we know it's real. Okay. So I'll see y'all in a minute. So let's get into just a teeny bit of housekeeping. A little bit of housekeeping, like I said, the show plays on Thursdays. We're going to review it on Friday nights. Generally about 9:30. 9:30 is a good time for me. Hopefully that's a good time for you. And you can just put me on your headphones and we could get into the action, okay? Um, so outside of that, um, it's been a known thing in the hip hop community that Suge went on to Kimmel's late night show and basically low key admitted that he was he got Eazy-E injected with AIDS. Okay, so we're not gonna front that. Okay, um, and the other ill thing about that is the beef that they had. You know, if you're a real hip hop head like myself and you're from the old school, you know that beef between Ruthless and Death Row when when Dre when Dre when they parted ways, and he went on to create Death Row with Snoop and Pac and somebody else I can't think of. But Pro and Easy went on with Jerry Heller and made Ruthless Records, where we got to know the likes of Bone Thugs and other unknown artists, which I will mention on the next review. Okay. Um, what's so interesting to me, what I was asking myself is, I find it super funny that it's always 20, 30 years later that they seem to have all the answers to our legend's death. I find that interesting. Do you find that interesting? Get this together live on YouTube. It's always 20, 30 years later, suddenly they got all the answers. But the people who were really um, going against the grain and really having answers always seem to be ignored. Like when Pac got murdered, like that, this is just an example. When Pac got murdered, that detective who they silenced him. And then years later, they're using him in a documentary to solve the case. I find that interesting. I'm just going to tell everybody to come through. You and your crew come through. So we got that posted, and I'll make another post on Instagram. Just go to Real Talking Healthy Food. Everything is Real Talking Healthy Food. I'm also on Anchor, Real Talking Healthy Food on Anchor, and make sure you follow me there and and check out my two podcasts that I got there, as well as on Instagram. I post pretty often. If you're a lady and you just like girly shit, then follow me on Real Talking Girly Ish, and soon there will be a channel dedicated to that. Okay, so yeah, so let's get into the mix. So his daughter, E.B. Wright, and his ex Tracy J. Like I said, we're gonna call her Tracy J because she got one of them hard last names. I got my poster in the back so we could get in, stay in the mode. Okay. Well, they finally were just fed up and they said that they were going to get them some answers into how he really died, because a lot of us just don't believe that he just died of AIDS. For me, myself, with him having all them kids and none of them women, and I'm sure with his rich ass, okay, and him dealing with all them sisters, somebody would have been like, that nigga gave me AIDS. I'm sure somebody by now in 2021 would have spoke up and been like, that nigga gave me the package, okay? And that's 100% for sure. So we could bet that, okay? Like a lottery ticket, we could bet that. So they teamed up with this journalist. I don't want to get her name wrong. I think her name is either Jessica or Jennifer Simpkins. Um, Let me get her name real quick, and then we're gonna go in order after that. Hold on real quick. Jasmine Simpkins. She was also a part of the movie Straight Outta Compton. She, she's a journalist and she also done some big cases like Nipsey Hussle's case and others. Okay, mostly based out of California. So in the beginning of this episode, they get into the history of NWA and how they came to be and their success with NWA, and how they were super controversial. And I know that for sure because I was born and raised in California, so I know that for sure. I remember when I'm reserving my time. I'm reserving my time. I can't think of her name, but when she had um, a conference in Sacramento when they were stumping on the CDs and tapes, I remember that very clearly because they were super against the gangster rap. I just wish we had a better understanding, of exactly what it was they were actually fighting against. But it's so multi-layered because being a person that grew up in California and knowing what we face as Black people, right? Being taught very young by my father, and that being the home base of the Black Panthers, we know that gangs come from the Panthers and other communities. It stemmed from um, the men in the communities protecting the women and children. It's not the bullshit that these weirdos are portraying today. That the gangster shit was some real shit. You know what I'm saying? It was rules and regulations that men followed to protect their community. And for me, seeing people like Dre and Snoop and Easy and Ice Cube on TV reflected what I saw in my neighborhood. So I, as a child, didn't find it offensive. That's just what I saw. It also relates to, and this is just a side note for people who may not be from California. Shout out to my girl Sunday. She said that she didn't feel like she saw the niggas that she grew up with in her hood until she seen the hot boys. They looked like the dudes that she was around living in the hood in Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? That reflected her reality, just like they reflected. Ice Cube is kind of blurred out, but I'm gonna get them in a good position on the next one. But NWA, Snoop, and them reflected what I saw in my neighborhood. Okay, so so that's why they were extra loved out in the West Coast. Um, so getting back to it, um, her daughter, his daughter, Evie Riot, they ended up meeting. So after going through the history of NWA and then Eazy-E breaking off and doing his own thing with Ruthless Records, um, the journalist interviewed the hospital's publicist at the time during the AIDS epidemic. and her name is Paula Carrera. She was head PR and said a lot of women were calling at the time, and she basically deemed it as promiscuous. Um, during my research on the AIDS epidemic, which I'm going to go into a whole lot of detail on the next episode, I've gone into a lot of detail on my other videos. When I post this, I'm going to leave a link in the tabs above where you could see um, some of my ideals and some medical professionals' ideals and studies, their case studies, a lot of studies that people use today for um, what we're facing now with Corona. Okay, so anyway, Jasmine Simpkins, Jasmine Simpkins, the journalist um, that EB and Tracy are working with, they interviewed Paula, and she said that he was really sick, and she said that she doesn't really have a lot of details. At the time, there was a doctor named Dr. Young. I got his name here. Dr. Young is the doctor who said that he died from pneumonia. Paulo Carrera also said that he had pneumonia. Now, what I found super interesting is that here it is, this public relation person was in and out of his room. I don't know. I find a lot of things suspect about it. She was in and out of his room where a lot of they said that he was supposedly isolated, and she says that he was very sick. Now, his friends around him said that he had a lot of issues with asthma and things like that. He kept the asthma pump. He really didn't smoke or drink like that. He was really just about his money and bitches, which usually people who don't really have any kind of substance vices, they usually supplement that with some kind of sexual vice from my life experience. Anywho, they went into details about his condition at the time. And so it goes over the BG knockout where he was there when they said that his lungs collapsed. And they were on the way to the studio, and he was talking shit and rah rah, and he couldn't breathe. He was hitting the inhaler pump, and he couldn't breathe, and they ended up taking him to the hospital. Now, all of this happened in a 4-week span, whereas at that time, when this was a new study, this was the gay cancer, or this was the um what did they quote that shit as being? The gay epidemic. And certain demographics are the only ones who had it. Just kind of like now, how we went from this whole thing to targeting certain different demographics. And unfortunately, Easy fell into that demographic, which later on turned out to be black folks, per usual with these epidemics. Um, so I found Paula Carrera a little bit suspect. I didn't like her demeanor. The energy that she projected seemed really biased and racist to me. I don't think she really sees it for any black folks, and especially some young black man who's coming in there rich and shit. Okay, I just don't think she really saw it for him. Okay, and then during the time while he was in the hospital, he married a girl, and they found a pastor hella fast out of the yellow pages. Now she did say that was hella strange, um, that they would find a pastor um, under these circumstances out of a yellow pages. And I think that's very weird myself. You know what I mean? Let me look this up real quick. And this is why I don't like to go live, because look. Like, I don't know if I'll go live. We'll see how it turns out. Okay, so yeah, he married Tamika, and I know for sure by being a Bone Thugs fan that they did not see it for her, and it was just something hella suspicious about Easy firing Jerry and moving on with his own business and marrying this girl hella quick. Like, it was just mad suspect to them. Now, as far as BG Knockout understood things, they said to him that it was under cardiac arrest. Another guy that they had a phone interview with, his name was Michael Bor Borbius. I don't know how to say it, but they said his death was by asphyxiation, which is some kind of strangulation. So it was just a lot of confusion around his death. I found a lot of similarities with that epidemic, especially with Fauci, and also our current epidemic. I found a lot of similarities, which I will list out. Now, if this live is not going to be popping, then I'm just going to upload it as episodes, and I'm not going to fuck with y'all because I'm not about to be on here talking to myself. So, it really wasn't a whole lot to this episode, to keep it real. They rolled the clip of Suge Knight basically saying that um, they rolled the clip of Suge Knight basically saying to Jimmy Kimmel that he could just inject somebody with the AIDS virus. And they presented it to a behavioral analyst, and her name is Dr. Lillian Glass, PhD. So this ain't no Rudy Poo behavioral analyst. This is somebody that really does this shit, okay? And so they put it on the big screen. And what they noticed was, at first, when he first walked in, he was acting like, I'm the man, I'm the man. But when it came to that little supposed to be a joke, it wasn't, it wasn't, his. I mean, even when we watch it as regular folks, we know this off top, like, oh shit, that we black folks in the hip hop community know what kind of nigga Suge is, okay? So when the nigga said that shit, especially him being affiliated with these people, and the name Jimmy Iovine, it just sticks out to me. It's something about that it just sticks out to me. And I've been looking, but I really can't find nothing yet. But I know the more I look, I will find something. But something about him, it just ain't right. Especially how he's eating off a drag. It's something about that nigga that just ain't sitting right. And you already know how we feel about Jerry Keller, whatever, right? Now, um, Dr. Young said it was pneumonia, and they felt like it was complications due to the AIDS virus, the AIDS, the disease. Okay. Um, Let me see. So later on, they were able to get their hands on the death certificate, which I felt like, damn, like what kind of like, how do you not know you're not able to get the fucking death certificate? Like, I really just did not understand that at all. I really, really just did not get it. Like, I don't know, I got my dad's death certificate hella quick. So I just didn't understand. Maybe they said a lot of the information was confidential. I don't know if it had something to do with Tamika, right? Or if it had anything to do with I'm just really not sure, but something about that seemed a little weird. I don't know, it's just because they're extra hood or something like that. I can't figure it out, but I'm just like, how are you not able to? How are you not aware that you're able to get the death certificate? Maybe it's just because her mom is a baby mama. I don't know. But it anyway, eventually they got the death certificate. I forgot to mention at the beginning they had um his tombstone replaced, and that tombstone is hella clean. Like they had a janky ass little something or another for him. It just said Eric Wright, and it had the wrong birthday. Like, how the fuck you gonna have the wrong birthday? Like that's the first thing that outside the name that you need to have right on the fucking tombstone. And it's not like they putting, you know, some Rudy Poo, burying some Rudy Poo. This is whole Easy E. You know what I'm saying? Easy. Like, what the, how you don't, you know, so they had the wrong year, 63, when he was actually born in 64. His mom was just, she didn't play it off, but they said it was a typo. But isn't that a typo when you're paying all that money or somebody's paying all that money? Isn't that something that you might want to get right? Because I know for sure tombstones are not cheap, and you got to pay per letter. You know what I'm saying? And it was like hella janky and extra regular. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why would you do easy whole, easy E like that? Like, so, and that's what her daughter, his daughter said. Like, my dad is Easy E. Like, no, and I do agree when she said a lot of people from the old school just agree with like bad things, like the shit that's going on with the current epidemic. They just kind of take it and don't fight for anything. They kind of suckerish, if you ask me. But anyway, they replaced it, and his other daughter got it together. She did it without asking. She didn't beg nobody or nothing. His daughters got it together. Okay, for their dad. That's why I got my dad right here next to me. Give me a little boost of motivation. So, as I was saying, they played the Suge Knight clip, and the behavioral analyst determined that he knows something. And so they reported back to the journalist, Jasmine Simpkins, and basically let her know that this PhD behavioral analyst, Lillian, has advised us that this nigga is on to something. So, um, they also showed a clip on something that I am researching currently, and what I was researching before I went live. It's called Criminal Transmission of AIDS. I thought that was super interesting because they had a case of a little boy who got injected with it, and he basically died from that. In my personal opinion, and this is just a conspiracy, that they were kind of like how they did the MK Ultra. Remember when we discussed that? We discussed that during the medical apartheid when we had a segue into Kanye West. And what they did during that time with the MK Ultra is that they would experiment on the downtrodden or on people who were easy to experiment on, like soldiers or homeless people or inmates, people like that, people they deem as undesirables, right? I feel like it's kind of like the same thing because back in the early 80s, late 70s, when this epidemic came to the forefront, it was a gay cancer. It was um a gay epidemic, okay? So I found that interesting. So it really wasn't a lot. I mean, it's more commercials than anything. And after they reported that to the journalist, I'm just going through my little notes. After they reported it to the journalist, they basically determined that, excuse me, they're going to need to speak with Suge Knight directly. And I feel like, what you think he gonna say? Yeah, I got that nigga injected with some AIDS because I didn't like the way he was moving. Like, fuck out of here. Now, that's basically where it ended. So, where we're going to end this is on some good shit. And that's how I'm going to do the next review. We're going to get into the deep shit, and then we're going to end it good and positive on his name. Okay. So, one thing I thought I found was interesting that I had no idea about, that I wish I was there when I was a kid, is that he used to do, he always gave back to the kids, and didn't brag about it. And he had a program called um, Rappers and Athletes for Kids, and he would take inner city kids to go see black cowboys and help them learn about black cowboys and things like that. And I thought that was hella cool, especially being from California. There's a lot of black cowboys. My Even though they're Mexican, right? My godparents are Mexican, and we were raised around Mexicans, in our inner raising, I should say. And my godfather is as dark as me, and he passed away a long time ago. But my godfather, who is Mexican, was my color or darker, and he was a cowboy, and so was his son. His son was about his color, yellow's color. My brother is his color. My brother got a blonde beard, but his son is a cowboy too. And when we was growing up, I had my cowgirl boots, and so did my dad. I think it's like a Western thing. So I thought that was hella cool. Um, so yeah, black cowboys and cowgirls very much do exist. And I thought it was interesting, and it's very telling, especially with him signing Bone Thugs, you know what I'm saying? And that's another reason why I'm reviewing this, because it's Bone Thugs from motherfucking life. Get it right. Okay. Um, why not cover their mentor? He totally looked out for them. He totally looked out for them, and I feel like he always looked out for the downtrodden, the underdogs, like, and raised them up to where they were supposed to be. You feel me? So I thought that was super cool. So really, I could end it here, and like I said, we're gonna keep it consistent because I'm extremely interested in this. And as I told y'all, um, it looks like they're uploading it up to. I'll call them back, but let's see. I'm gonna give y'all the specific what you call it, so y'all could be on deck just like me. Hold on. Ruthless propaganda. That's what it's under. Go to ruthless propaganda, and that's where I saw the first episode, and hopefully, you guys tune in. And if you got TV, because I gave my TV away, I watch my shit on the internet. If you got TV, watch it on WeTV on Thursdays at 9, and we'll review it here on Fridays about 9:30, 10 o'clock. I'll be posting on my Instagram if there's any changes at Real Talk and Healthy Food. Okay. So go to my Instagram for any updates. That's where I post them. I've been going live on Instagram lately. So all the Care Bears go over there. And also, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. And make sure you run my likes up, because I be putting in real work and they pay your girl dust. So I would like to pump up the volume. Okay. So I'm even thinking about starting to do the review on my new channel, which is going to be Real Talking Girly Ish. So if I do make that change, look for it there. Okay. So with all of that said, I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace, love, and hair grease and all that jazz. Share if you care, share if you dare, especially if you're a motherfucking Care Bear. I'm outie. Peace. What side?